Okay, this is about doing a quick inspection on your Hayward. You should do this at least once a month. First thing you should do is go right to where it attaches in the pool. Sometimes it even is attached inside the well there where most of the pump assembly feeds in and out of. But what you want to look for is just make sure that there's no damage anywhere on the hose. Look at it. You may want to run it while you're doing this so you can listen for seepage, cracks. This hose is like 1 year old, so it's in pretty good shape. But you still got to check them. You never know if they start cracking, or especially around here in this area here, you're going to start looking for cracking and pitting. This is usually a telltale sign. Once it starts cracking and chipping off right here, the rest of the hose is getting ready to go. So there you go. You go on through the whole hose, double checking it, make sure the joint's walking through. I mean, if you bend a piece like this and you see a gaping hole, yeah, there's a problem. And you're going to have to replace it. You can replace it section by section, or just get a whole new hose kit assembly, which is usually typically a 40-footer connection. And it's got all the pieces, the part that hooks up to the Hayward and goes all the way to the wall. So anyway, we're going to disconnect the Hayward right now. Take it out of its environment. Okay, now we got the Hayward out of the pool, and we just want to do a quick inspection on it. First, we want to check that the gear assembly here is working correctly, so we go right. We're looking for binding and chipping sounding and losing traction. Remember, this is all water lubricated, so you don't want to do this a lot. And that sounds good. That sounds good. Now you want to inspect the body, the outer body, especially the front. That's where it hits the concrete, and that usually wears down this lower casing here. And now it's all one-piece casing, so you're going to have to replace that whole unit. That may be kind of costly, but you have to do what you have to do when things get worn out. Alright, so you flip it over. You want to check this area here, looking for debris and whatever gets sucked up in there. Make sure that also that you're right here, I'm sorry, right here you're looking for debris, and also if you're looking to see an algae on there, you need to check out your pool water and make sure it's all good, because there should not be any green on here at all. So anyway, moving on. You're going to check your forward flap, and you're going to check your aft flap and make sure they're all good, okay, and not going beyond their parameters. You want to check your orifice here, make sure it's clear and clean, and it's best to have a Phillips head with you and at least go down to this point of breakdown. Hope it's loose by then. Nope. Okay. And you want to check for debris and whatever here, grass, hair, whatever. Same thing for here. You want to look inside here, make sure there's nothing in there, and you want to spin the turbine. Okay. And you want to watch your feet on your pods. These are your pods, left and right here, and you want to make sure that they're stomping. Okay. Because that means it's working. Okay, you also want to check your shoes. Your shoes have a marker line, about right here, all the way across a marker line. When it wears beyond that point there, you need to replace them. And they're pretty much a snap-on, snap-off type thing here. You need to make sure you check the shocks on these things. Okay, check your shocks. Check your shocks. Also check your pods, make sure they're not getting worn down, because if your shoes wear down or they're getting stuck, that'll cause your pods to get scraped up real bad, real quick. As you can see, there's already wear on here, there's already wear on here. That happens, and that's just, these things are built to wear and tear. Now, your flippers, check your flippers for damage on the end, especially the ends right here. And also, as you're checking them, make sure that these mounts here and here are still there, because you need these flippers for suction. This all is part of the suction part. This, and this all help create that more or less that cup, so it can suck onto the concrete or vinyl to get across the pool. So if these are broken here, you need to replace these pods. Okay, replace the pods here, and I do have a short little video on how to get them apart, and it's not bad. It's pretty easy. So anyway, that's all it is to check on that. Once you're good to go there, everything looks good. You see it's in good condition. Put it back together. Okay. And wanted to make sure that people know how to put it back in the pool correctly, so we're going to do that real quick here. There we go, nice and tight. All right. So we're going to go over here, hook it up back to the hose. Okay, here's the hose. You want to make sure you firmly, but not too hard, press it back on there. Make sure it's good and snug. Okay, and now you're going to take your Hayward to the furthest point of the pool, meaning the furthest point of the hose. So we're going to go over here. We're going to walk it all the way to the far end of the pool. So now, as you see, we are now at the furthest point of the pool, away from where it is attached to the wall there. And then we're going to immerse it. We're going to tilt it. Make sure we get all the air bubbles out and let it fall to the bottom. Then you can just plug it back in. Turn the unit back on, and you shouldn't have to, prime it. So it should be able just to fire itself back up and get the water rolling again, and no problems. So that's it, just for your monthly inspection. Here's another tip on the ports on the side there for adjusting the speed. Good luck. So a quick tip on our adjustment here. If you look in this little hole, a lot of people ask about this, and here's a video on that. Another interesting thing on the lower assembly here is right here you have an adjustment here. 1, 2, and 3. All these are is suction speed or speed, and basically what they wear out is your shoes. The higher the speed, a number 3 is going to wear out your shoes quicker than a 1. And what it's used for is to increase the speed. Let's say you wanted it to climb the walls and clean the walls, which is a nice feature of the Haywards. And if it's not doing it, then you need to go to 2. And if it's still not doing it, then you need to go to 3. Typically I set mine at 1. It does a fine job. It goes up the walls. Usually there's debris in your strainer. That's why you're not climbing the walls like you should be. But don't adjust this until you check everything else out to make sure you've got the right kind of pressure. Using your Hayward suction tool to check the suction going to the unit, and you should know that. It should come with your kit, and watch the video. You can see how to use that device. It's quite easy. You just attach it on the end of the hose, and it gives you a minimum max of where you're going to adjust your pump suction.